Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Quick SEO Tips for Contractors podcast. Uh, this is David Brooks, and I'm Ron Essany. We're going to talk today about the Google Business Profile, things that you should do, things that you should avoid, and hopefully it helps some contractors out there. So first on our list, we're going to talk about using a spammy or keyword stuffing business name. So the first thing I wanted to mention was Google actually has guidelines. There's a guidelines page. So for any businesses out there, just go to Google. And David, let me know. Can you see this window now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So there's a guidelines for representing your business on Google. They kind of talk about the things that you are prohibited from doing. So you can go to Google and just type in guidelines for representing your business on Google. And then you kind of just have to follow these. All right. So, David, what are your thoughts on a company like this, Affordable Roofing Pittsburgh?
Well, one of the main things that you see is no ratings or reviews for that business. So if I'm looking for, a roof repair, new roof, why would I trust somebody with no reviews there in the local map pack section? Also, the main profile photo just looks like an empty space. It's not really a representation of the business. So you do want to make sure that your cover photo has an actual image of your truck. Your logo should be present there. You can see the add photo button there. That means that it's basically no photos for this business.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be taking photos while you're out on jobs because that can build trust with people. If you go back to services, there, it's, roofing contractor, roof installation. There's still a lot to be desired there that can be put as services.
Mm-hmm.
So you will want to basically fill that out a lot more. And then if you go back to the overview section of the profile, scroll down a little bit more, it doesn't look like it's been any Google business post. So Google's
Mm-hmm.
looking at that as, this profile is, really dormant, is not active at all.
100%. No, I agree. Another thing, too, I want to touch on is the name, since we're talking about the keyword stuffing. If the business name is Affordable Roofing Pittsburgh, then, that's fine as long as that's going to be on the business cards, on the website. That's the LLC or the S Corp or whatever you use your entity for that business. But David, would you agree that Affordable Roofing Pittsburgh, as long as it's the real name, don't try to stuff that Pittsburgh in there just to stuff it?
Correct. If that's the real name and you actually named your business that, then that's perfectly fine.
Cool. I wanted to talk too that if you actually start stuffing keywords in here, you could potentially face suspension. David, would you agree with that?
Yes, Google's been really sensitive about their profiles lately, so they definitely will suspend that profile and it'll be hard to regain back.
Yep, 100%. Another thing too that we're going to talk about is, let's see, number 2, picking the wrong primary category or ignoring secondary ones. I think this is something that kind of gets overlooked. A lot of people will pick a roofing company or roofing contractor or whatever main business category comes up on Google. But I think that it's something that people kind of overlook and they think that they just do this one thing. Let's see. So David, can you see my starting a Google business profile here?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, so I started 123 roofing company. Now, if I go in here into business category, I'm going to type in roofing. So we have a roofing contractor. Another thing that I've seen too is that businesses that just do install, they'll actually put roofing supply store, which they're not. So I know that you're trying to, get as much roofing as possible, but that's something that I would definitely recommend not doing. Obviously, you'd have to get through this profile and create a business, but there are going to be secondary roofing type categories that come up. So I did want to mention to include everything in here that you think could possibly be beneficial to you. So for instance, contractor, I think is a good one because it's a general and you will come up for contractor. If you're doing roofing, David, are there some other ones that you're familiar with that you would put in here?
Yeah, if you offer gutter services, doing
Mm-hmm.
gutters, then I would suggest typing in gutters and then putting that in there too as well as gutter service or gutter cleaning.
Okay, cool. I agree with that. So the other thing, the reason I brought this up was because I think that people kind of overlook the secondary categories and it can definitely benefit them. We use tools that allow us to see what the categories are for businesses as well as the secondary categories. And David, how many would you say that you've come across that only have that one category?
It's quite a few that are missing out on categories,
Hmm.
opportunities there, or
Hmm.
they're not listed in the right categories.
Right, 100%. So next, we're going to talk about not posting regularly or letting the profile kind of go stale. So this business here, um, I love the name because it's you could tell that they're a family business by looking at like the photos, and I was reading on their website. Um, but I think this is fantastic. They have everything filled out accordingly, right? They have great reviews. So a 704 reviews, 4.9 score is fantastic. And then here under the updates, which is where the posting lives. So they basically are rocking out. They just posted this 54 minutes ago. Let's see, another one a day ago. And these are things that you guys can do. I think a lot of people overlook that they got to get the job done, but everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody can go ahead and, start taking pictures before and after and during. And I think that it's good to have a consistent posting schedule. If you can do it every day, awesome. If you can do it maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, I think that's at least good enough to where it shows that you're consistently showing some good stuff. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you can do that consistently and keep it with fresh images and fresh content, that's great.
Absolutely. And David, just looking at like their posting schedule that you can see here, that they were doing like 4 days ago, 3 days ago. Um, I mean, would you say that that's pretty good just doing an every day like this?
Yeah, I mean, think doing it every day, at least every week,
Mm-hmm.
is definitely helpful.
For sure. Let's see. Next, we're going to look at failing to respond to reviews, especially negative ones. So, this company here, if you look here at the reviews section, let's see. So they have good reviews, but then I noticed, let's see, here we have. So 6 years ago, I know that sometimes because sometimes businesses will start and time will actually pass. So they're like, 6 years ago, it doesn't really matter. Personally, I think that if you get a bad review, right? Because we know that you show up to someone's job and they let the dog is out, like bothering you while you're installing something inside the house or outside the house. And they're kind of just, not the best type of client for you. I think even if they left you a review, let's just say that they were just kind of being snippy all the time and not the ideal client for you. I would say if they leave you a bad review in some kind of way, I wouldn't kind of let that go under the radar. First, I would look at the review and make sure that it's them, right? Because sometimes people will just spam reviews. Number two, I would say make sure that it's a legit review. Like, let's say that they didn't like the pricing or whatever, or something changed to where they just kind of became a disgruntled client. I would say at least try to make amends with them to at least get the Google review maybe possibly removed. But I would at least comment and kind of keep it a positive so that other people see how you respond in a positive light. David, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you definitely want to be proactive in your responses.
Hmm.
Google looks at that. Your potential customers that are viewing your profile are looking at how you would address a challenging customer.
Hmm.
Whether you're, defending yourself, whether you're just, apologizing for their experience and then willing to go the extra mile to get in contact with them to see if you can rectify the situation. You're not going to
Hmm.
be able to please everybody, but Google's looking at, hey, are these guys being responsive on their profile, whether it's a good or bad review?
Right. And for us as working in SEO and kind of helping out businesses, it's hard. I mean, David, would you agree that it's harder where if we end up having like a client that comes on board with Contractor Rhino, they've been in the game for say like 10 years. They have 10 years worth of Google business profiles, reviews, and they have say like 300 reviews and half of them are 1 star. I mean, it's really hard to kind of bring somebody out of that. And it kind of reflects, I think, more on the business than it does necessarily on the clients. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it reflects, basically. how your customer service is. If you start to see that underlying theme,
Hmm.
that star rating will significantly drop. Then it will be hard to get that back up if you've already started off on a bad foot.
Right. Right. Yeah, because we've seen businesses like this, like a 3.2. I mean, that's hard enough to kind of bring up into the high fours to at least make it look like somewhat reasonable. Now, when you have 44 reviews, and let's say, 23 of these are one or two stars, you're going to need a significant amount of 5 stars, and I mean a significant amount of 5 stars. We use calculators to kind of see like what the estimate would actually be in the average to kind of bring you up to a good number. But this does reflect on the number of jobs you get and people how they're going to view you. So for this part, I'll just say be respectful to the clients, whether they're the ones that tried to stiff you or they were not very friendly at their house and they leave you a nasty review. Try to take the high road, I think, in leaving a review and responding to it. So that would be my 2 cents. Any 2 cents that you'd like to add in, David?
No, I think covered it well.
Okay. So then the next thing is going to be inconsistent NAPs, which is the name, address, and phone across listings and the websites. Let's see. And we could just do probably these guys, right? We just looked at.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
Because that LLC is gonna mess them up.
342. All right, so we're using Moz to kind of look up information. This one's a free one, so we're just going to look it up right now. It's real quick. This way we don't have to log in and kind of show you clients. While we're waiting, David, what are your favorite 3 tools that you think contractors listening at home could actually use for themselves? Because there's a lot of DIYers that are going to be listening to this.
3 tools to be able to kind of help you is, I would say Moz or Bright Local
Mm-hmm.
will be able to help you manage your citations and your name, address, phone number.
Mm-hmm.
Then next, I would recommend a tool like Jobber, which helps with like review management, getting those reviews from clients, so that it help boost your profile visibility. And then I would recommend like a keyword tracking tool, and like SEMrush or Ahrefs to see how your content is performing.
Okay. Thoughts on Google Search Console?
Yeah, Google Search Console is, definitely a free one
Yeah.
that you definitely should have, and make sure it's connected to your website.
Right. Yeah, that's my number one. The reason I brought that up is because when people always ask me, what's the best tool to use, they're like, I heard Ahrefs, I heard Moz, I heard, they'll throw out a bunch of different tools. Now, we love SEMrush, we love Ahrefs, they all have their good things. A lot of them like to upsell. We are not a fan of the upsells or the credits and all of that kind of stuff because it gets kind of costly in terms of a business, but Google Search Console is absolutely my favorite. So we'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point in one of these videos. But Google Search Console, basically, you just put the DNS file on your website, like a TXT file, and then you verify it. Takes a few days or so, and then you start seeing what you're coming up for in terms of keywords on the back end in Google Search Console. It's fantastic. So our Moz is done. Let's see, 58% missing, 42% incomplete, and then 0 correct. Yeah, you can see a lot of these are missing. The inconsistencies, I think, is how the LLC is actually written. Yeah, this tool is fantastic. David, you love this tool, right?
Yeah, I would highly recommend this tool. It
Yep.
gives you a good snapshot and overview of your online presence.
Yep, 100%. So you can see here that if you clean up your we call this citation consistency, but if you clean up your directory listings, you can kind of go in here, keep it all in one area, and rather than going to Bing over here, Yelp over here, and just it's a lot of running around versus keeping it managed under one roof. So this is a fantastic tool for that.
Yeah, so also too, one last thing, if you notice right next to that citation of Dex knows, you see that the website is HTTP,
Mm-hmm.
which is not secure.
Mm-hmm.
Usually well, you have an HTTPS, so that's a small inconsistency there. You see the Better Business Bureau has it, but the other Google and Bing doesn't have it. So
Right.
small things like that is going to hold you back.
Right. And that's probably flagging this exclamation point right here, right?
Correct.
Yep. And I think the other thing is the LLC inconsistency with the, because I think
Capital lowercase.
yep. Cool. And if you guys have any questions, you can go to contractorrhino.com. And it has the phone number on there, has the form. If you guys have any questions, feel free to, send us an email. We're always happy to help in any way we can. Yep. So we're online. Just try to check us out. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out. Cool. Well, thanks, David. Appreciate you joining. We're going to have some more of these, and hopefully we can help some businesses and contractors do better for themselves.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the opportunity of providing you guys with more value.
Me too. All right. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Thanks.